Juventus has been the form team of Serie A in the last decade. While AC Milan and Inter Milan have struggled to live up to their illustrious histories, the old lady has marched on. In the last decade, they've added 9 more Scudetto titles to their ranks. While the UEFA Champions League continues to evade them, they remain the only Italian side to give a good account of themselves. Juve made it to 2 Champions League finals this decade, failing to the might of Spanish giants Real Madrid and Barcelona. However, if one were to start watching Italian top-flight football now, they would not get this idea. Going into the winter break, Juventus have a game in hand but are 10 points adrift of runaway leaders AC Milan. The old lady doesn't seem to be title contenders in 6th place, out of any automatic qualifying slots for UEFA competitions. Dive down further and one observes them with the 4th best goal difference record. Inter Milan leads those rankings with AC Milan and SSC Napoli in close pursuit. Dissect these numbers further and Juventus are nowhere near the top. Italian football has become competitive and ultra-attacking, and this is where the old lady is lacking despite having the best player of this century, Cristiano Ronaldo. They are 6th in terms of goals scored, and it is the miserly concession record that has kept them in the competition. As it stands, it looks unlikely that Andrea Pirlo will be able to deliver the 10th successive Scudetto. The blame does not lie squarely on the inexperienced manager, but the situation the club finds itself in. The work done by their rivals is beginning to bear fruit, and they've been found lagging. Juve's transfer policy has been suspect for quite some time, and it's caught up with them now. There was an excess of defenders and midfielders last season. While the numbers at the back have been used up thanks to unexpected injuries, the club remained stacked in the middle of the park. To make matters worse, they are not the players neither Pirlo nor his predecessor Maurizio Sarri needed. Max Allegri might have had the use of these players, but the tactician had very different ideas to the 2 men who replaced him at the Allianz Arena. Andrea Pirlo is a man of his own ideas. The sublime midfielder is in his first managerial job and has a challenging task on his hands. Those who claimed that the Juventus job came too early for him will be patting themselves on the back. Pirlo has the playing experiences on his resume, but the nuances from the dugout are different. Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard are still coming to terms with the responsibilities and have more years on the job. The maestro does not have the same luxury and he's running out of time. It would have been better had Juventus stuck around with Maurizio Sarri a bit longer. The chain-smoking coach and his famous Sarri ball take time to get used to. However, he was not afforded that time. He was given his marching orders despite winning the Serie A. The rationale behind the action was understandable as Juventus were dumped out of the Champions League by Olympique Lyonnais. It was an anomaly at the time, but one that was exemplified later on. Lyon did not only make little work of the Italian giants, but also added the scalp of Man City. They would have knocked out eventual champions Bayern Munich as well, had Memphis Depay and his fellow attackers converted their chances at the start of their semi-final meeting. In light of this, Sarri's axing seems to be unjustified. After all, it was the former Napoli and Chelsea manager who managed to make Gonzalo Higuain and Paulo Dybala play alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. The trio scored goals with regular frequency and put fear into the hearts of everyone who came across them. A year earlier, Higuain had been unceremoniously moved around on loan deals to AC Milan and Chelsea, while La Gioia was looking at proposals from prospective employers. Sarri ball was always going to take time to get going. Chelsea started to bear its fruit by the end of their season. They still have Jorginho with them, the metronome whose services should have been acquired while Sarri changed clubs. The uncompromising Neapolitan manager had to work with square pegs for a round hole. It's the same case with Pirlo now. The current squad is Cristiano Ronaldo and others. Paulo Dybala is part of the dressing room but not an integral member of the first team. If Ronaldo has an off day, the whole team suffers. The 2 weeks the Portuguese goal-scoring machine was away from the first team coincided with their worst form of the season. One team being this reliant on their star player is not found anywhere else. CR7 is synonymous with goals, but he's left to do a lot of work. With in-form Higuain and Dybala, they showed what they could do. The club are yet another in transition after Sarri and Higuain's departure, and only time will tell if they can live up to their billing. Juve still have exactly 2/3 of their official Serie A fixtures remaining and can turn the tide in them. However, they will have to straighten their act and overcome the challenge of pretenders to their throne. Last year, it was Atalanta, Inter Milan and Lazio challenging Juve for Italian top-flight honours. Atalanta and Lazio are still in pursuit of Juventus, but not for the summit of Serie A. They're in 7th and 8th place respectively. Like last year, Inter Milan are in 2nd place, and the pole position is currently occupied by surprise leaders AC Milan. The Rossoneri were on the wrong end of a 5-0 drubbing by Atalanta this time last year. They've completely transformed themselves under Stefano Pioli. While the manager has to be lauded for his services, one cannot dismiss the aura of invincibility around the Rossoneri ever since Zlatan Ibrahimovic returned for his second spell with them. Milan are the only unbeaten side in Serie A and have dispatched the threats from all and sundry. Juve will be making the trip from Turin to San Siro, and anything but a positive result would spell doom for their title chances. The match against AC Milan will not be Juve's sole trip to Lombardy in January. They will be hosted by Inter Milan at the same venue 10 days later. Antonio Conte laid the foundations to Juventus' dominant run at the start of the previous decade, and he's returned to put an end to it. The combative manager came close to achieving the unthinkable, and his Nerazzurri side finished the last campaign a point shy of the eventual winners. The bookmakers had Inter favourites for the Scudetto, and they're still in the running for it. Conte's men have the best goal difference and scoring record in Italy and are only a point behind their crosstown rivals. With the squad assembled to the manager's wishes, they remain favourites to overtake the Rossoneri and claim the title. The fact that Romelu Lukaku continues to regularly find the back of the net and Lautaro Martinez has overcome his early season blushes, they're a force to be reckoned with. If the assault from Milan can be withstood, Juventus will also have to contend with AS Roma. Paulo Fonseca's men have given a good account of themselves and continue to impress neutrals and fans alike. They would have been closer to the Milan giants in the points table had Gianluca Petracci been more competent in his job and registered the right players in the right categories. Even setting his gaffe aside, Roma are a tough cookie to digest. They like to concede goals, but are effortless at the other end of the pitch. Had Ronaldo not come to their rescue, Juve would have found out exactly how their title rivals are made of. Interestingly, this Roma side has yet to flex its muscles in the transfer market. The club were conservative in their search for reinforcements despite their takeover by billionaire James Pallotta. The Italian-American has deep pockets, as deep as Steven Zhang and Andrea Agnelli. Pallotta has not shown his hand yet, but one should expect him to bankroll Roma's title bid. Fonseca has shown that his squad is competitive and only requires attention in specific areas. Once those additions are made, the pressure on Juve will only increase. SSC Napoli are also waiting in the wings for the old lady's scalp. There is no love lost between the Partenopei and Juventus, and they will love to see the downfall of their old rivals. The Blues stuttered to show what they're made up of under Carlo Ancelotti, but they're in the reckoning for a title race under Gennaro Gattuso. The midfield destroyer turned tactician laid the foundations for success at the San Siro for the Rossoneri and is embarking on a similar project at the now renamed Estadio Diego Armando Maradona. Victor Osimhen is their young crown prince who doggedly works around the clock and ensures the more experienced personnel are able to do their job with ease. AC Milan, Inter Milan, AS Roma and Napoli. This is not a list of teams Juventus must be wary of at the start of the season. These traditional Italian powers are all ahead of the old lady on the points table, and they don't seem to be in any mood of letting up. Juve will have to arrest their downfall and show that they still have the resolve that got them 9 successive Serie A titles. A decade of dominance is unprecedented, and they will be the first to put their names to this. To do this, they have to understand their faults of recent years and take corrective actions. This is an aging squad. Leandro Bonucci is 33, Cristiano Ronaldo is 35, and Giorgio Chiellini is 36. This is the core of Juventus, and it's old. They have to prepare for the future of times without Ronaldo and Chiellini at the club. The Portuguese is the deciding factor at the moment. Take him out and this squad is average at best, unable to match with the rest of the teams. While the need for urgent replacements is not that urgent, it is foreseeable, and they have to be more cautious than their scattergun approach of yesteryear. Juventus' hasty parting of ways with Sarri brought them with Pirlo, hoping he would be their Pep Guardiola. Pirlo might have been the better player amongst the two, but has no formal education in coaching. Pep was handed the reins of Barcelona's first team after he'd spent time with Barcelona B and earned promotion with them. Pirlo was given the job after a week. To ensure that he delivers on the promise, he needs to be helped in the transfer market. Only with the right players under his command can he deliver what he has in mind. If Pirlo is supported and continues his reign at the club, Juventus can continue to reign. They've always had challenges from their rivals, but they've overcome them. Inter Milan have the best chance of ending their incredible run, but given their squad's ages, they cannot dominate like them. Juve will have time to regroup and make a fresh assault under Pirlo. As it stands, we might be looking at the end of Juventus' dominant run, but if the club plays their cards right, it might be the start of another one.